In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to adjust the white balance. Now with this photo, it looks pretty darn spot on. So we're gonna go back, click done if you haven't done so already, double click in this area and you'll get back to all the photos of the photography masterclass. This photo right here of this dime, the white balance is definitely off. So I'm gonna select that photo, click edit, and now just go ahead and bring open the white balance adjustment. You have different options for adjusting white balance. You have this slider down here that you open up and you can drag to the right to add warmth or drag to the left to make it a little bit cooler. So this photo, the way that it was originally taken was a little bit too cool. It was a little bit too blue, and I know that because when we were actually there, the table itself was very red and warm, and just from the dime itself, it looks a little bit too cool when we see the original. Let me just go click the original so you can see this is the original with the adjustment. So that's one way. Let me undo that. The other way is this with this color picker. Now this only works if you have a white item or sort of a neutral gray item within your image, something that doesn't have any color. Now, if I click this, now I can go to my image and find something to pick. If I pick something like this red, it's not going to work. It's going to get all wonky. And you can see there, it becomes all green basically, because what we're telling the app is that this red that I just clicked is white. And then depending on that, all the other colors kind of follow suit. So let me undo that. If I take this and I do want to find something that's neutral gray, the silver might work. So I'm going to go ahead and click something on the dime. One thing to note is usually with these color pickers, you can't pick something. See how this is white up here in the back of Eisenhower's head on this dime? That's not going to work because that's completely overexposed. Whatever you click has to be exposed properly. So let's go ahead and go back, click somewhere down here where it's a little bit darker. And you can see that that actually works relatively well because we're telling photos that that part of the image, this gray or this silver, should not have any color in it. And because we did that, everything else kind of aligns properly. And then from there, we can go in and we can make it a little warmer or a little cooler if we want to make our sort of minute adjustments with the slider here. But that tended to work pretty well. The other options are if you have skin tones, you can drop this skin tone drop down here. And then if you click the eyedropper here and then choose a skin tone, it will kind of match the white balance to that. So you'll have to have pictures of people there. This isn't going to work because work too well anyways because this image is not actual skin tones. And then you have temperature and tint, which is actually a more advanced way to adjust. So let me reset everything and then go back to temperature and tint. Whoop, not skin tone, temperature and tint. And this has two sliders. One for the temperature, which you learned in your earlier white balance section of this course. And this actually gives you the Kelvin scale. And this allows you to match the light source according to the Kelvin scale. So if I go up to something like 5600, which was basically sunlight, which was the lighting for this photo, that actually looks really, really good. That's probably the best option that we've seen. From there, we have tint, which is going from green to magenta. Sometimes, depending if you're shooting under sort of certain lights like fluorescent lights, you might get a little greenish tint, or you might have it look a little bit sort of pinkish or magenta. So you can adjust this slider like so to fix that, but I don't want to do that though. So to undo any of the last adjustments, you can just press the undo button, keyboard shortcut Command Z if you're on a Mac, Control Z if you're on a PC. That gets rid of your last adjustment and goes back. And so this is actually the best way that I would use or find for white balance for this image. Let me click done. Let's go back to our other photos. Here's the photo of me, and let's click edit. Now the white balance is a little bit off, and I'm going to try the skin tone option here. So now I have to click with the eyedropper, click my skin, and now that looks a lot better. So if we see the before, after, you can see the before that because I was in the shade, it's a little bit blue and cool, but it actually, or my skin hopefully, is a little bit warmer and not so dead looking. And so that makes a much more natural looking white balance using the skin tone feature. Awesome. So that's a lot of the cool ways that you can adjust the white balance with the Photos app. In the next lesson, we're going to be looking at adjusting the colors and saturation.